So you can see this horse, Sebastian, is really difficult to inject. This is a difficult and dangerous problem for owners, vets, and horses. It's really important. Gemma, how can you help us with this?
So I think there are lots of things that owners can do at home to set themselves up. Just bring Sebastian forward again to where we had him, if he wants to do. So there are lots of things that owners can do, and clicker training is probably one of the most useful things. So to start off with, what I might do is just come up, and I might even just put my hand on his shoulder, and he stands still, so I click, and I give him some food. Now this horse has never heard a clicker before. It's the first time he's ever heard a click, but immediately he realises that I'm not a vet. Should we just bring him forward a step? That's it, and just stop him there. So again, I can just come in and put my hand on him. He stands still, so I click, and then I give him a little bit of food. So this is what we call positive reinforcement, whereby the correct behaviour, which is standing still, is reinforced by giving him some food. And we all love food. And then what I'm going to do is just change. Each time I'm going to ask a little bit more. So that time I just grab a tiny bit of skin for him. And then this time I might come in and grab a little bit more skin. But because he's standing still, I'm going to continue to do that and click and remove myself. And now I might get a bit more skin and just wait because he got a bit tense, release because he didn't move. And each time he gets that little bit of food. So I'm becoming very predictable for Sebastian now. And Sebastian probably thinks, gosh, every time Malcolm comes along, the only way to make him let go of my neck and leave me alone is to move, to rear, to swing my hindquarters round towards him. Whereas this silly blonde vet, all I have to do is stand still and relax, and she lets go of my neck, and she also gives me some food for it.
So Gemma, what's the purpose of the clicker?
So the clicker is really important because it times the correct response. So I could just give him food, but because horses have a short-term memory, he might not associate that with the standing still. Whereas now I can say, that click is the exact moment that you need to repeat. So have we got the syringe there?
So you're being quite specific about when you make the click.
Yep, absolutely. So again, he's seen the syringe, so just both hands on. And my aim, if this horse started to step back or move away, I would just go back a level again. So this is a process that we call shaping, whereby if the horse gets anxious, you go back to something that was easier and repeat that a few times before you make it harder again, and breaking it down to lots of easy to achieve steps. So this time I might try and actually put the syringe against him and do this. And you can see now he's starting to relax a lot more, and he's thinking, I just stand really still and relaxed. The syringe goes away, which is what he wants. And then I also get my click and I get my food for it. So now we're creating a really good habit. And now hopefully I can start to put more pressure on.
So if you're an owner and you don't have a syringe, what could you do? You need to get a clicker.
Yeah, so a clicker's really helpful. You can get them from pet shops or online. They're just a couple of pounds. And I think using, you can ask your vet. Vets will always happily give you an empty syringe, or you could use a pen, or basically anything that you can apply a little bit of pressure. Now, I think what would be good here would be if we show how you could then work it when your vet arrives. So you obviously need to do several sessions practicing this before your vet arrives.
Right.
But then I'll get you to keep hold of him. So Malcolm, if you just go in and put your hand on his shoulder.
Yep, so I'm not going to have the clicker, I'm just going to be... There's a good boy.
Click, and so as soon as you hear the click, I want you to step away again.
Right.
And this time I just want you to get a tiny skin twitch, as you would do to inject normally. We wait, click and release.
So you're being really careful not to click when he's had an adverse reaction and he's jumping away.
Exactly, so now go in and get a bigger skin twitch. And now you can have your syringe back.
Right.
So I want you to go in and just put both hands up, because both hands is different. That's it. Notice how he looked at me that time for the food rather than anything else.
It's really impressive.
And now I want you to put the pressure on as you would do if you're going to inject him. And, if your vet's just willing to, that was probably 10 seconds or so, just do 2 or 3 repetitions before they actually inject him, then you can be giving them the food when your vet gives the injection. And 99% of horses will stand still to be injected then. So
if as an owner you've put in that work, it's really important to tell your vet beforehand what you've done, because they will be only too pleased to work with you on something like this. A lot of vets get injured injecting needle-shy horses. So I think this is a really important technique, and Certainly don't be in a situation where if you've got a new vet, they don't know what's happening. Explain to them this horse's issues and how you've worked around it. I am extremely impressed with this. This horse is very difficult to inject, and within minutes we've made a really big difference.
Yeah, and I think you made a key point there, because I think some horse owners think that they shouldn't tell the vet if the horse is needle shy in case the vet gets worried. But actually that's not fair on the horse, and it's not fair on the vet, because a lot of vets get badly injured in these scenarios. So if you tell them, then they can be prepared. They might even do a few things like this first if they know about it. But even better, if you can prepare your horse like this so they know the clicker, they know to stand still regardless of what happens to the neck, they get the click and food, you're setting everyone up for success.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be handing out free clickers to my needle-shy horses.
Yeah, and I guess the key things here when you're training is the click is always followed by food. It's the timing of the click that's the most important thing. So making sure you're not clicking when the horse is throwing its head up or stepping back or being anxious. And then just starting off with something really easy and building it up to harder things.
Great. Thanks very much.
No problems.